What's up, everybody? It's Aaron Duckett here, back again with another Panthers video, man. I got the recap after the Panthers and the Falcons matchup in Charlotte today, and it was ugly, man. I mean, the Panthers really got destroyed out there, 29-3. They didn't score an offensive touchdown in the game, man. This is probably the low point of the season, man. I'm not going to lie. This hurt a little bit more than the San Francisco game. Hurt me personally because I'm here down in Atlanta. I live here and I have to deal with these stupid Falcon fans that anytime they have a glimmer of hope, they're going to try to gloat and rub it in, even though they've been the laughing stock of the division for the most part of the year. But it's neither here nor there. We got to talk about this game, man. But before we do, this is Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I get recap and analysis of the Panthers, man. So make sure you hit the bell icon, too, when you hit the notification button. That way, you don't miss anything. And YouTube will always let you know. Make sure you get the video a thumbs up, too. But hey, real quick, down below in the comments, let me know what you thought about the game today, man. What stuck out to you the most about what went wrong? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff to go around to blame, but what was stuck out to you the most about what went wrong today for the Panthers? All right, of course, man, this is the year where we have to start off with the quarterback position because that's the name of the game when it comes to our team this year. The quarterback position has been so much controversy. So let's talk about Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen struggled again today, and it was ugly. 4 interceptions for him, including another red zone interception, which wasn't pretty. So the thing about him, we expected him to make mistakes and struggle a little bit, but you don't want to see this guy repeat mistakes because he is a young player, so he's going to make mistakes, but you want to see him learn from those mistakes because there was a point in this year where he was getting better and better every week. Now it seems like he's starting to take steps back since the competition has got a little bit stiffer, whether it's been a better defense or a better quarterback he's been going against. But like I said in the last video when I recapped the Green Bay game, it's not so much of the turnovers, but it's the timing of the turnovers that kills the most. So the first interception is the third play of the game for the offense, and you're under a little bit of pressure. And somebody's in your face. You got a receiver running a drag route, DJ Moore. But instead of taking the sack and living to fight another down, you try to just get rid of the ball, gets tipped up, the linebacker intercepts it. It's first down to the Falcons after they've already scored in their opening drive. So you already got your defense in another hole that they aren't that great this year so far. For the most part, they're good at getting after the quarterback, and they've had their moments, but we know that they've struggled over the past few weeks. So putting them on the field for an extra amount of time to get fatigued after they just came off the field is not going to help them in the long run, especially that early in the game. You can't afford to turn the ball over that early in the game on a careless turnover that wasn't even necessary. And then at the end of the first quarter, after the interception and 2-3 and outs, we finally get the offense together, start moving the ball, get the ball in the striking distance when the score is 10-0, and a chance to get on the board. You know what I'm saying? Giving us a lot of momentum. We're at home, and steps up in the pocket once again. It reminded me just of the Green Bay interception. That's why I said it's frustrating because he tried to force it, and of course Desmond Trufant undercut the post route and picked it off in the end zone. And the big thing about red zone turnovers is they take points off the board because you had a chance to get 3 points at the worst, but you got greedy, decided to go for the touchdown, and you threw a pick. You know, you could have lived to fight another down. You could have scrambled, got 5 yards out of that, and get ready for the next down. It seems like anytime he steps up in the pocket, he's not making great decisions because stuff is kind of happening fast, I guess, as you're running towards the line of scrimmage versus rolling right or rolling left when it comes to getting outside the pocket. So it seems like that's really starting to force the issue. He's really not willing to run as much as he really should have. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of room, and he's not slow. Take what the defense gives you, live to fight another down. You want to see him get better at that, especially after making the same exact mistake last week. You want to see improvement, but he made the same mistake, so that's when it gets frustrating. But like I said, the defense is not good enough for us to be able to turn the ball over that many times and expect to win any kind of games, especially against a team like the Falcons where the Panthers defense has historically struggled against them for the most part with Matt Ryan being the quarterback. And you can't afford to do that, especially when you have a quality quarterback like that on the other side. Even if the Falcons defense did play out of their mind for the past 2 weeks against the Saints and us, you still had some opportunities to take advantage of them, and we just missed out because of numerous turnovers. So let's talk about that struggling defense because, like I said, we've always struggled against Matt Ryan. I've personally been to the game where I saw Matt Ryan go for 500 yards and Julio Jones to go for 500 yards. And if you watched that game when you saw Julio one-on-one with Luke Kuechly and he jumped over Luke and snagged the pass on a deep play, we've got something similar to that today where he kind of just hung it up there. Luke was running stride for stride with Julio, but he just couldn't find the ball. It dropped right in Julio's hands, and it was just an amazing play, an amazing catch. And that was really a back breaker, and it really gave me bad deja vu about that game because, like I said, I saw Julio go for 300 yards in person. And I paid my money for that ticket. I wanted my money back. It was pretty ugly, but I seen that happen. Like I said, that just tells about the struggles that we've had. Maybe it's because we don't have any more like pure pass rushers that can just get to Matt Ryan quick and rattle him like most teams do. Maybe we're not deep enough in the secondary to be able to hang with their receivers because Calvin Ridley obviously had a $140. Julio almost had 100. And Calvin Ridley has scored in every game that he's played against the Panthers. He's played us 3 times, you know what I'm saying, since his rookie year last year. And he's been going against Donte Jackson every time in those matchups. And he's giving it to Donte Jackson every time in those matchups. And last year, Calvin Ridley had 100. This year, he had 100 too. And Donte Jackson has just been struggling, period. He struggled last week versus Green Bay in the snowy game and stuff like that, being our primary corner. And he's just been struggling this sophomore year. He's got some picks early on, but he's really been getting burnt, staring in the backfield, letting people get behind him. I'm going to make a video probably breaking down why he's struggling for the most part, just to give you guys some more insight about that. However, Donte's really been struggling, man. Like I said, Calvin Ridley is a problem. You know what I'm saying? They get rid of Mohamed Sanu just to unleash Calvin Ridley, and this is why, because this guy had a monster game. You know what I'm saying? I think he was 8 for 8 for all his targets and 143 yards and a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Crazy efficient, and it is what it is. It seemed like he just kept getting behind the defense. We focused in on stopping the run, and we did a good job with that finally. Gap integrity was important, so that's why you see so many guys were swarming. And that's why you seemed like the running back really had no room whatsoever. We really committed to that. Granted, this wasn't Devontae Freeman, the starting running back for the Falcons. However, Brian Hill, who they had in today, had 100 yards against the Panthers in Carolina last year. So for them to be able to slow that guy down after he had a big game in his career game last year against the Panthers was a good sign. However, it doesn't matter if you make a team one-dimensional if the other dimension doesn't really have a limit, because their passing game pretty much got whatever they wanted throughout the day. We sacked Matt Ryan a few times, but it wasn't enough to make a significant difference. I might have counted 2 to 3 punts at the most in the game, just thinking about it off the top of my head. And it's really frustrating when you can't get off the field, and it really could have been worse, honestly, this game, with the amount of turnovers we had and the piss poor performance we had offensively. 29-3 is pretty generous, you know what I'm saying, to say the least. But just overall, this game was a beatdown, period. You know what I'm saying? Offense, defense, special teams, because obviously we allowed the punt return for a touchdown to Kenyon Bonner, who used to be a Panther last year. He was notorious for getting body slammed by the Falcons punter Matt Bosher in this same game, but he came back and got a revenge factor against us. This game, he ran up a kickback, and he was talking a lot of trash, even though he was fumbling kicks later in the game. And stuff like that is really what grinds my gears about the Falcons, their fan base, and them in general. You know what I'm saying? But it's a rivalry. I'm not supposed to like them. So it is what it is. I don't know exactly what's gotten into the Falcons, but their defense has really cranked it up the past 2 games. They haven't given up a touchdown in the past 8 quarters. Dan Quinn giving up those play calling duties to Raheem Morris and whoever he is. I don't even know his name. Splitting those up had to be a decent move. I know we've always had struggles against the Falcons because we're not great with speed rushers. We've never had a left tackle. You know what I'm saying? Greg Little struggled a lot today. He hasn't played since week 4. So going against a guy that fast and Vic Beasley and Tat McKinley was not going to be what the doctor ordered. If they can't do anything, they can run around that corner, and that's what they did today. Greg Little's technique was sloppy. He wasn't setting the edge correctly. I think Mark Schlereth did a pretty good job outlining what Greg Little needed to do. He was dropping straight back, and pass blocking was supposed to be Greg Little's specialty coming out. Yes, he is a rookie, so there's going to be some growing pains, but that was supposed to be his specialty coming out. Will Dennis Daly, if he can make it back, will he go back to the starting left tackle? I'm not sure. Heck, even Taylor Moton struggled. He got benched for Darrell Williams. And a lot of people might say Darrell Williams is terrible. He doesn't deserve to play. I agree. But Taylor Moton has not been playing good this year either. He had been pretty solid at right tackle the past few years and being pretty much wherever we needed him to be. But he's been struggling, man. So it really makes you wonder, is he even a long-term answer on the offensive line in Carolina? So there's a lot more questions that are coming up than answers from these past few games that we've been losing as a Panther. And that, in general, is affecting Kyle Allen. Yeah, you can say, hey, don't blame Kyle Allen too much. The offensive line is playing terrible. But we've seen Cam Newton been getting beat up his whole career. So it seems like if you're going to be the Panthers starting quarterback, you got to be able to handle a bad offensive line. So we got to be able to look at Kyle in these type of situations, as unfortunately as that sounds. You know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have a quality offensive line in front of you. So you got to learn how to operate under the pressure and have the composure, because you can start to see that the lack of protection is starting to get the Kyle. He's getting happy feet. He's not setting his feet. Usually, he was just making bad decisions when he threw interceptions. Now, he's throwing bad passes that are way too high for guys. Guys aren't even close. That's because his mechanics are bad. The same stuff that people like to criticize Cam Newton about. You're starting to see it come up with Kyle, and it's starting to become apparent. It's that the offensive line really has a direct effect on the quarterback's mechanics in that pocket, and if they can actually be comfortable back there. So I think we're starting to learn a lot about our team with Cam Newton being out and some of the real big problems that we do have, no matter who's playing quarterback. So it's tough to watch, man, for me. And I've kind of gotten numb to these games, but I definitely perk up when we play these division games, because I don't want to lose to these guys, because I see these guys. I know a lot of fans from these other teams, and they're all annoying. You know what I'm saying? So I've become numb because it's tough, because playoffs hopes are looking grim with 5 teams in the NFC having 8 wins already, and we're sitting at 5-5. It'll take a miracle probably, but never say never. But it is what it is, man. The common denominator has been losing the turnover battle, and Kyle Allen has really been having a lot of giveaways, and the defense really hasn't been taking the ball away as much as they were earlier in the year. And that's just a recipe for losses, and that's what's been happening, man. But like I said, you guys let me know what you think about the biggest thing that's been going wrong with us so far, man, this season and in this game. But without further ado, I'm signing off with Necessary Blunt Sports Talk. This is Aaron Duncan. I'll see you next time.